Box, which hopefully is still available online for you to go and grab if you like anything you see today. Loads of other designers at Sizzix have been posting videos to give you lots of inspiration to do with these craft boxes. So if you're struggling for ideas, there's loads of inspiration out there, and we're going to keep bringing you videos for the rest of the month, and then for the foreseeable future with future craft boxes as well. So I'm going to show you how to make this lovely floral notebook. It isn't fully finished, it's not all stuck down yet, because I'm going to show you how to finish it off and stick everything down. So that's the general idea, all using everything you get in the craft box. So we've got the die, the cardstock, the sequins, the adhesive sheets, all that good stuff. So if we get started, I'm just going to turn it over and I'll show you how to start it all off. So you want to start off with a plain notebook, and I've covered mine, so as you can see there is a line there, but I'm just going to show you for the sake of this video how to do the leaf element, and then I'll turn it over and we'll carry on. So I'm going to show you how to do this section. I'll just take that flower off. This section here, how to build that up, and then we're going to add the flowers. So you want to cover your notebook. I've actually covered mine in the sorbet coloured cardstock, which comes in your craft box set. You could cover a notebook in whatever you like, or even just use the notebook as it is, but I wanted everything to be really cohesive with each other, so I've covered mine using some really strong double-sided tape, and that's going to be my basis. So like I said, I'm going to show you how to do the leaf section first. So I've used the green tea cardstock that comes in the set, and then using some of the adhesive sheets, I've started by cutting those sections out. So I'm just going to cut a small section. Now, by now you're probably really familiar with these adhesive sheets, with the amount of videos that we've used them in with this craft box, but they are amazing. They're double-sided sticky sheets which just make sticking really intricate die cuts so much easier. So I've stuck that on the back of the card, and then I'm going to trim the card down. So I stick it to the back, which is the non-textured side of the cardstock. Just get rid of that little bit there. And then I'm going to cut out the two stem sections a few times. So I'm going to use the express machine today. Any machine will work. I just love this machine when I'm feeling a little bit lazier and I don't want an arm workout. So just pop those in and then press your button. And it cuts out. There we go. So easy, this machine. There we go. Okay, so I've just cut two out to show you, and I've got a few already pre-cut. Oh, it's already there. There we go. Okay. Get the other one out. You can use, if you have a die pick or just some tweezers, just to pop those out of the die if you're struggling. Okay, so I've got several others cut out, and I'm going to start to layer them. So I'm working in sort of each corner, just because I liked the way that looked. But again, you could totally change this up. You could work in a circle and work them outwards. It's up to you. I quite like the framing of the two corners. Okay, so I'm just going to take away that adhesive sheet from the back, just peel it off and start to arrange these in the corners as I sort of want them. The good thing about this adhesive sheet is it's not sort of permanent straight away, so like glue, you'd stick it down, it'd probably make a mess and you wouldn't be able to peel it back up, whereas this you can kind of play around with it, see if you like it, peel it back up, move it about, just makes life so much easier. It's just not messy at all, though it is a bit fiddly to peel off the back. So peel that off eventually. There we go. Okay. I think I'm going to put that one there. I've got a couple more to go. And just building those on top of one another, so you can start to kind of layer them, and I could even, like, say, lift that leaf up and pop one underneath, sort of however you want it to look. I'm actually going to use this one, I think. And that's what I love about this die as well, because you have all those lovely florals in the Bold Flora set, which is obviously the set that I'm using that comes in that spring craft box. But because you get these sort of stems and leaves, you could really just make something purely with those, and it just makes it a bit more than just an ordinary floral set. So I'm just going to lift that up, place that, sort of move it around, and until you're happy. Okay, so I'm going to leave that at that, and then these stems I'm actually going to start to use some of the sequins and put some little bulbs almost on the ends of these stems. So I am going to use the green tea set, but you could use the cherry blossom set that also comes in the set, and you could make them little pink bulbs if you want. I'm going to stick to the green. I actually did this technique with the cherry blossoms in a previous craft box video, if you want to go and check that one out. So I'm actually going to use some express glue for this. But any glue you have to hand, I just really like the express glue because it dries and secures really quickly. Okay, so then I'm going to take my tweezers, and I want those really little sequins. Hopefully you can see them, they are a little bit small, and then I'm just very gently going to squeeze a dab of glue on the end of each sort of stem, and then pick them up, these sequins, with my tweezers, and just gently rest them over those blobs of glue. Don't press too hard, because then your glue is going to sort of go out to the side and make a mess. Just dot it on. You can always clean up that glue afterwards. Just on there. You could even use your fingers if you wanted to, and just try to squidge it on your finger. The tweezers just make it so much more easy. Hopefully you can see this. It has gone a bit dull now in the afternoon that I'm filming this, but okay, let's get one more and finish that off. Okay, so if I kept going and kept layering that up in both corners and using those sequins to add some really pretty bulbs on the end of the stems, you'd have something like that. So there's all the stems all layered up. You can see I've sort of overlapped them, I've put all the sequins on, and it's all ready to add some florals on there. So that was all using those 2 die cuts, the adhesive sheets, and just those sequins on the tops. Okay, so that's all ready to go. We're now going to start to add the florals. Now, I do have all mine pre-cut, again with the adhesive on the back. Some of them I'm going to keep completely flat like the stems, but some of them I am going to raise as well, just depending on what you like. So I laid them out before, and then I actually just used my phone. I just took a picture, and I'm going to work off of that, which is a really good tip if you're unsure about sticking things straight away. If you lay them all out before you take the adhesive off or use any glue, take a picture and then make sure you're happy with it and have that to reference back to. Okay, so if we start, so this one's actually already got the sticky off, and I'm going to do it that way so I know where I'm working. So I'm using these main colours. So I've used the sorbet in the background, I've got the green tea there, and then I'm going to use the primrose, which is the dark pink, the cherry blossom, the ballet slipper, which is the lightest pink, and then the limoncello for the centres. Again, all comes in that set, all comes in the craft box. I've got all the colours there except for the limoncello, which is obviously that colour there. So they all come in the set, but I'm going to use mostly the pinks today. So I'm going to start to layer those up. So like I said, some of them are going to be flat. So I've got that one flat there, but then I've also got some of them raised. So I've layered that one up, I've sort of pinched it together to raise it, and then I've added a little cherry blossom sequin or bead in the centre. Okay, so you could do that with some of them if you wanted to create a 3D effect, or you could keep them all flat. It's completely up to you. If you are going to raise them, you could use adhesive, but you could also use glue, because obviously there's only going to be one point of contact. So for this one, I'm just going to use some express glue, just to show you. I'm going to keep referencing back to my picture and sort of playing around with those elements. So again, I've got all those pieces cut and ready to stick. So because you get some really lovely colours in that set, and you weren't a pink person, you didn't want those pinks overpowering your notebook, you could totally change up the colours, and you could do the lovely blues and the mints. It's completely up to you really, so just whatever suits you. Okay, I'm going to move down to the bottom. So I'm going to make this one flat and just keep layering those up. I'm going to start there. And I'm actually going to use the sequins as some centres, I think, as well, because I've started to do it up here with that one, but I'm actually going to use some down the bottom as well. So again, just pop some glue on and pop that there. So you could play around with using the die cuts, the limoncello die cuts, or the sequins as centres, and really have a lot of fun with that. It's a bit fiddly trying to get this off, but we'll get there. Okay. And this die cuts so amazingly. I love the centre elements with that lemon colour, and how easily they cut, and it just really finishes some of those flowers off. So again, here I've got one that I've raised ever so slightly, and I'm just going to glue that on. If you do have a paper sculpting kit in your collection at home, that would also be brilliant to sculpt some of these flowers, but you could just totally pinch them just for that little touch there. Okay, so I've got a couple more that I'm going to stick on. I won't do the whole thing purely because you don't want to see me stick sort of hundreds of flowers down. There we go. But like even that section, that little bit there that I've just stuck down, that is a centre element, but I'm using it as an actual flower just because I wanted something a little smaller. So you can really play around with these. I'm going to start to use my tweezers, I think, because my nails are giving up on me. So I'm going to stick that one up here and then get some of this. Okay, I think I'm almost happy. I'm just going to use a couple of these lovely cut out flowers that come in the set. I'm going to stick that one down. I'm going to actually pinch that one. So I'm going to stick it in the middle, just press it in the middle, and then just take my tweezers and pinch that like that. So that's a 3D one that has used adhesive. So they do work just as well, just depends what you prefer for those 3D ones. And then I'm just going to add a couple more centres. It is time consuming to build these kind of makes up, but if you're patient and you just take your time, I find that it's really quite therapeutic in a way, just to have a play with what layers up nicely and what works. Okay, I'm going to stick. Oh, this one doesn't want to come off. There we go. Stick one more here, and I'm actually going to layer up this one on top, and I'm going to glue that one, I think, because I want this little piece raised. There you are. So you can layer up these flowers depending on what you like and what you prefer, whether you want a more flat effect or something more 3D. And I'm going to pop that there. And then I'm going to add a couple more sequins to the centres. I like these matte sequins for centre elements, but you could use some of the shinier ones if you preferred. So I'm going to pop that one there. And then a couple of the little baby ones, I think. So just really carefully. Don't want to press that glue too hard, just in case. And have one there. And one there. These little sequins, I bet you can't even see them very well on the screen and on the video, but they really do add that finishing touch. And like I say, I've even used beads in there, so I could even go in, like I say, with the sparkly ones, with the beads, and add some more finishing touches if I really wanted to. I might do that actually just on one down the bottom, just to add one last finishing touch. I'm going to pop it on this one. And place that there. There we go. Okay, so we've got all of our floral elements all stuck down, and as you can see, what I was talking about at the beginning, that by doing those two corners it really frames that. I'm now going to finish it off just by popping the word notes in the middle. You could do this by handwriting it, so you could just write it out with a pencil and then go over with a fine liner, or you could use a calligraphy or alphabet die set that you have in your collection. For example, we've got the L uppercase and lowercase sets. They don't come in the spring craft box, sorry, but they are available in chapter 1, or if you have something similar, this would totally work. Just as another option for you to handwriting or printing if you didn't want to do that, if you already had a die in your collection that you could use. So just to show you how that would look, I'm actually going to use the die and stick that on. So again, I've just used the adhesive sheet on the back, and I used the Banana Blast coloured cardstock, which is this one, which is a slightly darker than our limoncello cardstock. Okay, and then I'm going to spin it around this way just to make my life a bit easier. And then just stick that on. I think my tweezers are needed for this. Like I said, if you didn't have an alphabet die set, that's absolutely fine. You could totally just write this in the centre of your notebook, and that would make a really nice personalised finishing touch. I think you could even write your name if you didn't want just the generic notes. You could say like write Jess, or write Jess's notebook, or anything, whatever sort of suits you, I think. And that's the beauty of crafting. I think you can totally personalise anything. This adhesive sheet is amazing, but it's tricky to get off when I'm trying to rush something for a video. There we go. Almost there. Just got my S to add on. Almost there, there we go. There we go. And there you have a lovely personalised floral notebook. Excuse my sticking of the letters there. I was trying to speed that up for you, but like I said, you could totally personalise that with the letters in the middle, add your name, you could hand draw it, completely up to you, and you don't have to go for these pinks, because in that set you get some really lovely shades of pastel cardstock, and you could really change it up to whatever suits you. But I think anybody loves some lovely flowers on the front of their notebook, and it's really personalised and sort of would sit really nice on someone's desk as well if it was just a decorative piece. So I really hope you enjoyed that, guys. If you do recreate this one or any of the other videos that we've made for the spring craft box, make sure to share them with us, share pictures, comments, anything. We'd love to see what you guys are up to. And like I said, fingers crossed this is still available on the website, so go and check that out if you're interested. And yeah, stay safe, guys, keep crafting, and I'll